with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Allen. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of the Erie News NOWCAST. The FDA just okayed mixing COVID-19 vaccines and also backs Moderna and Johnson & Johnson COVID booster shots. U.S. regulators are extending COVID-19 boosters to Americans who got the Moderna or Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They also said moments ago, anyone eligible for an extra dose can get a brand different from the one they received initially. Now, the Food and Drug Administration announcement marks a big step toward expanding the U.S. booster campaign, which began with extra doses of the Pfizer vaccine last month. But this is not the last word. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will consult an expert panel later on this week before finalizing official recommendations for boosters. And new tonight in Crawford County, unanimously, Meadville has passed an ordinance lessening the penalties for small amounts of marijuana possession and paraphernalia. The City of Meadville mayor tells us this ordinance is geared more towards first-time or infrequent offenders. Instead of misdemeanor charges, city police officers will now have the decision to issue a summary charge or a misdemeanor. Now, a summary charge is very similar to a ticket. So instead of paying $1,000 or more to the court system and attorney fees, offenders would only pay a $300 fine. One councilwoman tells us she put her support behind this ordinance to help the city keep up with the times. And I'll be breaking this ordinance down further and what it means for Meadville tonight on Erie News Now at 11. In Warren County, charges have been filed against the mother of a toddler whose body was found near the Allegheny River. It's a story we first reported on back in August. Now, that's when the official search for a 2-year-old named Izzy ended with her body being found in a wooded area along the river. Izzy was with her siblings ages 5 and 3 when she apparently fell into the water. Tonight, Izzy's mom, Patty Jo Vargason, has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child. The criminal complaint filed claims Vargason negligently failed supervising her children. Now, Vargason also told Erie News Now she was sleeping at the time Izzy and the other younger children slipped through a gate and went towards the river. She said she believed the gate may have been left open by the older children. And nearly 2 months after the U.S. military carried the last American troops out of Afghanistan, hundreds of Afghan refugees will soon call Erie home. The International Institute and Catholic Charities have agreed to take in 200 Afghans by the end of the year. Now, so far, a total of 3 families have already arrived in Erie. The International Institute works with a group of local landlords to provide the refugees with rental units. Along with housing, both agencies have a contract with the federal government to also provide the refugees with schooling, childcare, and employment. Now, Afghans began fleeing their country in August once the Taliban seized control of the Afghanistan government. After U.S. troops withdrew from the country, their arrival in Erie marks a new beginning for each refugee.
The families that we've seen are eager to work and really get started again on their lives. So, you know, it's going to be a community effort, and as always, Erie steps up. So I don't think this will be anything different.
Now, Pennsylvania is expected to resettle a total of 1,000 Afghan refugees through the U.S. Special Visa Program. And after being in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic for over a year and a half now, we still know you have plenty of questions, which is why today we hosted a 2-hour question and answer roundtable on our digital platforms. Community members had the opportunity to ask experts from our local hospitals questions regarding COVID-19, vaccines, boosters, and anything else. Now, we caught up with experts after the discussion to learn what the top questions were. Charlotte Behringer from the Department of Health says with Halloween around the corner, many parents are curious to know if they should take their kids trick-or-treating.
Challenge parents to be ingenious, incorporate the mask into the costume. A regular Halloween mask is not going to be adequate. We would encourage small groups as people go around outside. And as far as people delivering it, certainly I would not be inviting trick-or-treaters into my home this year.
Our Haley Potter will be breaking down some more of those top questions and answers coming up tonight on Erie News Now at 10 and 11. A chill in the forecast may have you wondering if the supply chain issues will impact things you need for this winter. Now, we've seen all of the backlog of goods at West Coast ports where catching up will take some time. So we checked in at Duquesne Ace Hardware, where they say so far they're in pretty good shape for things you will need this winter. Now, they were stocking shelves today with space heaters, weather stripping kits, and soon they'll add shovels and snow brushes. Some are left over from last year's stock, and a new order is expected next week. Now they're also getting in salt for melting snow and ice around your home, though not all sizes are available just yet. As part of the Ace stores, it helps that Duquesne has access to supplies in Ace warehouses.
We're pretty set. We do have some leftover stuff from last year that we will be bringing out to the floor. And of course, we just got our shipment of some salt. I can also order more. My warehouse is well stocked at this point, so we're able to order just about anything anybody would need.
Good to see they're good to go for now. And we also talked with a couple of other hardware chains, some saying they just don't know what to expect yet, but they'll do their best to be ready. And as supply chain problems affect nearly every business across the country, they're hurting local farmers too, just as those farmers are trying to harvest a year's worth of crops. Local tractor dealers say they can't get enough parts to keep up with that demand. So that means tractors and other equipment break down. They sometimes can't get fixed for weeks, if not months. Dealers say it's been a problem for almost a year now, and the situation likely won't improve until well after the fall harvest season. Still, dealers say farmers are being patient and they're getting creative to make do with older equipment.
They're frustrated. I mean, they're making do with the equipment they have, and if something's down, I mean, fortunately, the parts have been slow, but we've been able to get them accommodated with what they need.
Turning now to a much happier story. Athletes with disabilities took part in a Special Olympics torch run today in Chautauqua County. The annual event, hosted by local law enforcement and the Western New York Special Olympics, started at Jamestown City Hall. Participants carried the Flame of Hope, which is a symbol of the Olympic Games. Local law enforcement additionally donated to the cause, raising millions to fund sports gear and trips for the region's over 4,000 athletes.
Just extremely grateful for the Jamestown community and all of our law enforcement partners that have come out to support us. Again, it's a great turnout this year, and we hope to see everybody next year and things get back to normal.
And there are 2 athletes from the county that will represent Team USA at the 2022 Games. State Representative Ryan Bizzarro is bringing back the monthly Veterans Assistance Program to his office beginning tomorrow. A veteran service officer from the VFW will be at Bizzarro's office on Peninsula Drive from 11 to 3 p.m. every third Thursday of the month. The officer will be able to help veterans who need assistance with compensation and pension claims, education benefits, VA healthcare system enrollment, burial and survivor benefits, state benefits, and more. All military veterans in Erie County are eligible for the services offered. And as Election Day draws near, we're helping you learn more about the candidates for county executive as you decide who will get your vote. Erie News Now is hosting a debate between Democratic candidate Tyler Titus and Republican candidate Brenton Davis. You can watch it on WICU this Thursday at 7 o'clock. That's tomorrow. It's also airing several times on WQLN PBS, and you can watch it anytime on erienewsnow.com starting on Friday. Well, we thank you for joining us for this edition of the Erie News Nowcast. Join us for our next news at 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on WICU and WSEE. Have a great night.